G'day there guys, worried that my dead ancestors watch me while I'm pooping here, back at it again with another episode of r/am I the a-hole. Now if you love this content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and enjoy the bloody good content. Posted by user Katie and her pup. Titled, Am I the a-hole for saying that my identical twin will always be number one in my life? I grew up with my parents, 2 older sisters and twin sister. My twin Kayla and I are very close, and the twin bond has caused issues with people in our lives. For years, our 2 older sisters have said they feel left out with me and Kayla. Even though we did spend time together, or with just one twin, Kayla and I were definitely exclusive sometimes. Things with our sisters have gotten better with time, and we're good now. I also know my mum was hurt when Kayla had her first baby, and the only 2 people in the room were me and Kayla's husband. She was in the room when one of our older sisters had a baby, and was hurt when she wasn't invited. Also, my mum didn't get to be very involved in wedding planning like she was with our older sisters, because Kayla and I planned it all together. We were very close to mum, so it's not a relationship issue, it's just, yeah. I've had 3 serious boyfriends and told them, my twin and I are very close. She's a huge part of my life. She'll always be my number one because she's literally my clone. You have to be okay with this for our relationship to continue. For the first 2 serious boyfriends, they said they were okay with it until they weren't. And that's totally fine. I get it. My husband is the most sweet, selfless, giving person. Not a jealous bone in his body. He's never had a problem with how much I turn to Kayla because he knows that he isn't competing with Kayla. He is in his own role, and no one could ever take that from him. We dated for 3 years, and he saw how often I turn to my sister, how much we talk, how we run things by each other, choices and long-term planning is done together, etc., and was fine with it. The problem? My sisters came over to my house a few nights ago for dinner. My older sister said, "Things are scary right now. I spend so much time worrying about my husband and kids." And my other sister responded with something saying pretty much the same thing. Then Kayla said, "I know, right? What would I do without Katie, my baby, and my husband?" Both our older sisters said, "Why are you mentioning Katie's name next to your family?" And it turned into our usual squabble. My husband and I ignored it. We're very used to it, lol. Kayla said, "She's literally my twin. Of course we'll be closest." Older sister said, "Even over your baby and husband?" And Kayla said, "I love them all, but twins are different. Isn't that true, Katie?" And I said yes. This is where my husband got upset. He was hurt that I would place Kayla over a future baby, whereas I'm confused, because that's something I told him years ago, and he's always been okay with it. Also, older sisters are continuing to be mad about it, feeling left out, but also being oversensitive. I'm tired of them making me feel like I can't spend time with who I want to be with, or being scared that I'm making them feel bad. I don't really know what to say about this one, honestly. It's kind of like a weird in-group little thing they got going on between each other, which is perfectly fine, but how often did twins take it this far down the track in their lives? It's getting like creepy. I'm feeling a bit creeped out by it. It's almost cult-like behavior in a way. They're just like, I do love my husband and my baby, but my twin, my twin takes precedence over everyone. I think just saying that blatantly and outright to them kind of makes you an a-hole, even though you believe it's the honest truth. As unfortunate as it is, you're allowed to love your siblings, you're allowed to place your twin sibling over your immediate family. Just don't be surprised if people start pointing the finger and calling you an a-hole because it's uncommon. You're the a-hole. I understand the twin bond is different, but if I was your husband, kids would be off the table. When you get married, your husband comes first. After you have your kids, they come first. You basically just told your husband that if it came down to it, that you would choose your twin over your hypothetical kids and your very real husband. Truthfully, you probably need to get couples counseling and individual therapy if you want to salvage this situation. And after you have kids, they come first. Exactly, OP. Your kids come before everyone. If that isn't something you can accept, don't have kids. They shouldn't grow up knowing they aren't the priority in your life. Completely agree. When I had my daughter, she automatically became the most important person to me. I have a close relationship with my siblings and parents, but nothing is more important than her. How crazy. Just curious, since almost everyone in the comments is saying this, should children necessarily be number one after the spouse? My personal take is that in marriage, your spouse is your priority even when there's kids, because you and spouse existed before kids and will also be each other's support after kids move on with their families. Of course, the kids' needs and love tank must be definitely met. This is also assuming there is no abuse happening. If not, then yes, the parents must protect the child. I have a friend who shared that her mum's whole life revolved around her and the brother, and when they grew up and moved out with their own families, the mum didn't do so well. Truth be told, my own life now revolves around the needs of my 2 young children, but whenever we can, hubby and I will always try to make time for each other, like when the kids sleep or we find a sitter, etc. I will never fully neglect my relationship with my husband for the sake of my children. Yes, time and commitment might be focused on the children when they are young, but hubby is still number one. For OP, I agree with many of the comments saying her relationship dynamic with her sister is a little too extreme. It is special, no doubt about it, but the new family unit should have a certain priority. OP, no one is really telling you to stop being close to your sister, but you should understand that you now have your own family, as do your sister. Your twin relationship will always be there. I think everyone understands your bond, but yeah, don't keep saying it. It hurts other people who also have close relationships with you, and I can't imagine how your future kids might feel to know he or she is not as important as Auntie Kayla. If any of the other stories on Reddit have taught me anything, it usually doesn't end too well. My judgment for this scenario, you're the a-hole. Mr. Dud Chicken says, no, kids are number one before the spouse, and I don't see anyone here saying otherwise. It has nothing to do with the duration of the relationship and everything to do with the severity and importance of the relationship. Your kids rely on you to be the parent. They are totally dependent on you, and you have a ridiculous amount of trust from them. You are the decision maker, the teacher, the provider, etc. You can divorce your spouse, you can find another spouse, but your kids are always your kids, and you're irreplaceable to them. The parent-child bond trumps the spousal bond. The only difference is that you have to break the parent-child bond when your children reach adulthood, which is why that's often very hard for parents. Until that point, however, the requirements of parenthood are putting your kids' needs first, often before even your own needs if necessary, let alone your spouse's. Posted by user FrustratedAdam201, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my brother his girlfriend can't be in the room when we are watching football anymore? So, I am a 24-year-old guy, and my twin brother is obviously the same age. He got a new girlfriend, 21 female, around Christmas time, and I like her for the most part. Me and my brother live together, by the way. I have a full-time job, and he has a part-time job while studying, so I pay more of the rent than he does. But recently, since the football has started again here in England, me and my brothers are huge Arsenal fans, his girlfriend has been in the room every match that's been on since. They are apparently joined at the hip, and she can't go and do her own thing for a few hours. All she does is complain about how stupid the game is, and how it's just a game, and we're dumb for taking it so seriously. She keeps trying to talk to us while the game is on, telling me about all the gossip between her friends and such, and I keep telling her I don't want to talk and want to concentrate on the game. And she gets really offended saying, "Oh, I am so sorry from tearing you away from your precious game." Though my brother entertains her with those conversations, and it's really annoying trying to watch with her loudly banging on about random crap at the same time. I also tend to swear and have foul-mouthed rants when my team is losing or playing badly, and she keeps saying that I'm childish for being this way and tells me to tone it down because I scare her. Yesterday, Arsenal won the FA Cup semi-final, and I loudly celebrated and screamed in happiness when we scored. And she left the room, and my brother went to talk to her, and came back in saying I needed to apologize because I scared her so much that she almost cried. I told him no way. I'm allowed to celebrate my team scoring how I want in my own home. We argued, and they left. My brother came back later, and we argued again, and I told him that I never want her to be there when I'm watching a match again because she ruins it for me. Our relationship is certainly rocky because of this. Am I the a-hole? Oi, nah, but how good's the footy, eh? Has this woman never been around like a football crowd, in a pub, in a private scenario before? Has she been living under a rock in England? That's genuinely just the culture. Come on, the brother has to know that as well. He's just enabling her annoying, childish ways, and that's not cool. If a man wants to enjoy the footy and be passionate about it and have a good time, let him. If she's going to be a sourpuss about it, she can leave. I don't think OP is the a-hole there. I think OP is very passionate about footy, and I don't blame him. Keep doing you, brother. So, she doesn't like football, but insists on being there when it's on and ruining it for everyone else? Not the a-hole. It's your house, your rules. I hate football, but if my brother or stepdad have it on while I'm at theirs, I find something else to do or leave. Sounds like the girlfriend needs to grow up. Agreed. I generally find sports boring, but I've watched games with family members that enjoy it, and I will watch it for a bit while on my phone or gone off my own. Right? I'm not a fan of any sport, especially on TV, but the brother's girlfriend is a huge a-hole. My husband has a studio. It's right next to the living room, not soundproofed when he's making music, I just have subtitles on. Because it's his passion, and when he feels it, he plays it. But the amount of women that complain about their significant others playing too loud or whatever shocks me always. If you don't like it, go do what you like. It's not a hard or difficult thing, that's what she said. I will never understand people that can't justify themselves, but bitch at others for knowing or having something that does. OP, not the a-hole. Your brother should take this as a red flag, lol. Can't even believe I typed that. Posted by user Am I the A-hole Throwaway 71920. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not telling my neighbor I had started a college fund for his kid? Full disclosure, I 100% do not think I'm an a-hole for this, but they are harping on it, and I'm just looking for an independent opinion. I, 36 female, bought a rural property in 2016. This property has a very large yard and a long driveway. I also travel a fair bit for work. I was looking for a service to handle shoveling my driveway in the winter and handle mowing my lawn in the spring, summer, and fall. Mostly because I'm gone a lot, but also because I just don't want to deal with it. I was talking to my neighbor, R, who said his son A, 14 male, was a hard worker and wanted to make some extra cash, as he was saving for college. So A and I came to an agreement. Every weekend, he would mow my front and back lawn, and I would pay him $40. In the winter, whenever it snowed, he would come by and plow my driveway. Firm $40 a week whether or not it snowed. He would just drive on over with his tractor and handled it. It worked very well for 4 years. This kid was a godsend. I foster dogs, and if I have to go out of town unexpectedly, he would come over and feed them and play with them and love on them and just have a grand old time, and he would be compensated accordingly for the extra work. All in all, I probably paid him $3,000 to $4,000 a year for the work. I made good friends with his folks. I get invited to all the family parties, his older sister had a baby, and I went to the shower. So, it is obvious I have a soft spot for this kid. Knowing that he was working so hard to try to afford to go to school, every time I paid him, I would also set aside the same amount of money and I put it into an envelope. I was invited to a socially distant graduation party earlier this month. He graduated from high school and he's going away to a state school about 2 hours from us next month. I took that envelope full of cash to the bank and got a check which totaled out a little more than $12,000. I included this check in the card that I got for him for graduation, and I thanked him very much for helping me all these years, and wished him well as he moved on with his life. He was extremely thankful because his mum has been laid off, and they were worried about how they were going to pay for school, and they were trying not to let him go into debt. Now, the issue. I was worried that his parents would think of this as charity because his mum had been laid off. This plan had been years in the making, and I hadn't mentioned it to them because I didn't want them to count on it for whatever reason. I wasn't in the financial position to offer it to them when the time came. The neighbor's mama called me extremely upset that I hadn't told them about the fund prior for 2 reasons. 1, it overshadowed their gift to him, and 2, they had spent so long worrying about how they were going to pay for this, and if they had known about what I was going to do, it would have saved them a lot of stress and problems. Am I the a-hole? Personally, I think this is the smarter approach to helping someone to get through college. That last post where the guy promised from a young age that he would put the money towards the kid, and then when it came to the time, coronavirus just now hit, and he's like, I genuinely can't afford it, I've been unemployed, I've been laid off. I'm sorry, I can't do this for you, fella. This is the better way to go about it, so there isn't any expectation and there's no feelings hurt with a promise on the horizon. I can understand why the parents are upset, but I genuinely don't think they have the right to be upset about their son getting $12,000 for college. That's just not right. I think OP is justified as not the a-hole in this situation. The parents are the a-holes for blowing up. Not the a-hole. How could you ever be considered an a-hole for something so generous? They shouldn't be upset because you overshadowed their gift. They should be happy for their son. As for saving them the stress, it would have been more cruel to promise what you could not guarantee. See the Office episode Scott's Tots. And that one comment telling me that it's not Scott's Tots. It was Scott's Tots, okay? Shut up. I'm not listening to anyone that tells me that situation wasn't Scott's Tots. Not the a-hole. Perfect example of making a promise you can't keep, and if you did tell them, it sounds like they would blow that out of proportion as well. I am sorry that you're out of a good worker though. He sounds like a good kid, and you will be a good adult. And he will be a good adult, but okay. I would be cautious if the neighbors try and foist another of their kids, if they have any, to take over. They might have unvoiced expectations that you will present another large check in the future. And I'm sure you didn't overshadow their gifts. The son expressed that his family was on hard times, and it seems like he has a solid head on his shoulders. While he appreciates your gift because it would make his life easier, and is super generous from someone who doesn't have to be, he surely appreciates whatever sacrifice his parents made to get him a gift as well. I'm in this parent's shoes. My parents are both better off than I am. Their presents to my 18-month-old daughter are worth more than the presents I give to her. I thank them very nicely, and be grateful that my daughter gets to have nice things that I otherwise may not be able to afford for her. In addition, I worry for years about finances for my house, which is a long story. And when it came time to need to fork out that money, my mother generously said she would make up the balance. I thanked her very much for making something that I hadn't been looking forward to very easy. Not the a-hole. You made a generous contribution, which A was very grateful for. This is about A having the finances for his education. Don't let his parents make it about them. Personally, when it comes to Scott's Tots, I didn't think that was the most cringe episode. Phyllis's wedding actually hurt me more inside. I hated Phyllis's wedding more than Scott's Tots, I'm sorry. Controversial opinion, I know. Posted by user NoFormal8875. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister I don't want her and her new poly partners staying with us, even though I was initially okay with just her boyfriend? I don't know about you, that sounds like a party to me. Throwaway account. My sister had plans to stay with us for months. She lives in a city that had a hard time during the pandemic and wants to stay with me, my husband, and my kids for around 2 months to unwind and escape. We live in a very tranquil and picturesque part of our state. I was totally okay with this. We have a big house and my kids love their auntie. The issue is, she tells me she's been in a new polyamorous relationship since like late last year, and she wants to bring her 3 new partners along. I haven't seen her all this time, and I haven't met any of these people. I only know her long-term boyfriend of 5 years, as they've visited us many times in the past. We're now having a rough time, because I basically said no. I don't want your other romantic partners here, but you and your boyfriend are still welcome like in my initial invite. She has tried to explain the dynamics of their poly relationship, and I tried to understand as best I can, but I still don't want 3 additional strangers all sleeping together under my roof. She said they would all be sleeping in one bedroom, and we would probably see them cuddling and being affectionate in public living spaces, but that it's no different than what her and her boyfriend would do anyways, just with more people. It's hard to verbalize why I'm so against this, so my sister is using this as evidence I am secretly bigoted and need to reevaluate my prejudices. My sister did point out that I once let 2 of her college friends that I hadn't met before stay with us during spring break. I felt that was different because they were 1, only friends, and 2, not in a sexual relationship with one another. I just feel really uncomfortable knowing that there will be a total of 5 people in my home, likely engaging in group sex while my family is nearby. Am I the a-hole if I maintain this boundary? I feel like I'm probably carrying some prejudices against their former relationship, but on the other hand, it's also my home and my kids to protect. My husband agrees with me, but says it's my choice to make because it's my sister. She has been ignoring me for the past few days since I said no, and told me she thought I was better than this. Come on, sis. We just want to have kinky group sex, just 5 of us every night in the bedroom in your home. Why won't you let us do it? I don't understand. Why is she trying to shield this with, you're just being prejudiced. You're just a bigot. No, that's not an acceptable thing to put on someone else. I'm sorry if you believe that. OP, you are not the a-hole if you maintain this boundary. If you're not comfortable with that being in your own home, with your own children, that's fine. Continue as you are, because I probably wouldn't do it myself, and I believe a large majority of people share this same view. It doesn't feel right, especially with the whole pandemic going on. Not the a-hole. There is a pandemic. She's lucky she and her primary partner are invited. 2, why in the world should you be obligated to host additional people that you don't know and didn't plan for? 3, you can have no issue with her being poly while taking issue with her inviting over some randos that she just started dating. Sounds like she's trying to use your tranquil home as a booty vacay. 3, specifically, is why OP is not the a-hole in this situation. Yes, 1 and 2 are important, but it literally sounds like she wants a summer vacay with her new poly pals and is peeved that she won't get that. OP, you are not obligated to put the health of your family at risk during this pandemic with 3 people you've never met. Your sister should understand this, especially with kids involved. And rehashing the 2 college friends part, just because you were kind once doesn't mean you need to extend that same amount of generosity again, not the a-hole. Not to mention, spring break is like a week. 3 strangers in OP's house for 2 months? I would nope out of that automatically. Mind you, it does sound like OP is squicked out by the poly thing, which would be something to think about and work on. But you can be the most open-minded person in the world and not want to open your house for a 1/6 of a year to people you've never met. Not the a-hole. Some poly people, especially those new to the lifestyle, can be like some vegans, i.e., really annoying and aggressive about it, proselytizing and haranguing anyone who doesn't convert. Like OP's sister, claiming bigotry because her sibling doesn't immediately roll out the red carpet for her new lovers. One of those people who makes the poly community cringe. Hold up. Did I read that there will be 5 people? As in sister, boyfriend, partner A, B, C. Forget the polyamory part. As long as they're happy and have a healthy relationship, it doesn't matter what they do. But why would they think it's okay to bring that many people into a house with children during a pandemic? Also, who wants to live in a house of 9 people all cooped up in quarantine? I've seen reality TV shows. You are not in for a good time. Not the a-hole, that would be a hard no for me too. Yes, sister, boyfriend, partner A, male, partner B, female, and partner C, male. My sister said that 2 of the people are in a relationship with her and her boyfriend, but the remaining man, partner C, is only together with the other woman, partner B. Maybe I was just intimidated by the complexity of it all, but I feel really uncomfortable with a living situation that I would have zero idea how to navigate. I just wouldn't want that many people in my house if I was them, not gonna lie. There is such thing as hotels, Airbnb, even though that thing's dying. There's other options. You don't have to all force yourself into one person's house. I'm sure there's 5 of you. Surely 5 of you have enough money to pull together to find somewhere nice to stay for 2 months. Alright, and I think that's where we're going to leave today's episode, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed the content today. If you guys loved watching it as much as I loved making it, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel already if you haven't. Tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below, maybe like the video, who knows. I'd also like to take this time to thank my awesome Patreon and channel members. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably be homeless on the streets of Ireland, crying, Irish dancing all over town. It would just be a mess. But no, for real, you guys are up on the screen now. Thank each and every one of you guys. And if you personally want to join the club yourself, there are links down in the description below. There's also the join button next to the subscribe button. Small monthly fee, but hey, it goes a long way to help me create more awesome content. Well, with that said, guys, I hope you do have a lovely day, night, sleep, evening, day at work, day at school, whatever you're up to. I hope you keep awesome today. You're looking amazing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.